Hello everyone. Today I'm looking at the FeiyuTech Vimble 2. I probably just butchered that. This is a budget smartphone gimbal that I found for a pretty reasonable price. Inside the case, you get the gimbal itself, a small tripod, a lanyard/wrist strap, a micro USB cable, micro USB to other cables. I see there's Lightning, USB-C, and micro USB, and paperwork. Here is a tour of the gimbal. Starting from the bottom, you have a tripod mount, location to fit a lanyard or a wrist strap. On the front here, you have a thumbstick. This feels really similar to the control stick on the 3DS. A power/mode button, a photo/video button, or a shutter button. On the left, a micro USB port for charging. On the right, a zoom slider. You push forward to zoom in, you pull back to zoom out. On the back here, you have a trigger button. Moving up, you have the indicator light, and this part extends. It goes around 8 inches, I'd say. So this is a 3-axis gimbal. Here we have our first motor. Our second motor is here. This part can be adjusted to fit your phone, and you have your third motor over here. Here's the smartphone grip. It should be able to fit most phones in there. I don't have the exact dimensions though. And finally on the top, there is a USB port so that you can use this gimbal as a power bank and charge your phone with the gimbal. The smartphone grip can rotate to record vertical video. For the build, it's pretty hefty in the hands. It looks pretty decent upon a first impression, but the closer you look, the more you can see it's not very well finished. For example here, you can see that this plastic piece is already starting to split. I can close the gap if I start pushing in. The controls are fairly simple. First off, on your phone's end, you will need to open the FeiyuOn app. Second, to power on the device, you just hold the power button. And now we are in pan mode. So in pan mode, as I pan to the right or the left, the smartphone will follow along with my movement. If I tap the power button or the function button once, it will enter lock mode. So no matter how much I try to move, it will try to keep the camera in this exact position. It does have its limits, of course. If you push the gimbal too far, it won't be able to hold the position. Now in these two modes, if I move the joystick to the left, it will pan to the left, and if I move it to the right, it will pan to the right. And if I move it up or down, it will tilt up or down. If I double tap, this enters pan and tilt follow. And I've broken it. Okay. Oh my god, I have pushed it past its limits. Time to do another take. If you double tap, you enter pan and tilt follow. So now, as you tilt the gimbal, it will tilt along with it. Pan has not changed. But now if I push the thumbstick to the left, it will rotate the camera. However, up and down still controls tilting. If I triple tap, it switches over to the selfie camera. This only works if you have the FeiyuOn app open. If I tap 4 times, this enters auto mode. So right now it's disabled all manual input, and it's doing what it thinks is best. At least that's my interpretation. They don't do a good job of explaining what each mode does. But right now, I believe this is in pan and tilt. As you see, it is tilting along with my vertical movement. It is also panning as well. If I tap 5 times, this enters calibration mode. So all 3 motors are disabled, and you would set the gimbal down on a flat surface. I assume the gimbal is done calibrating once the green light shows up. They don't exactly specify how long you should leave it there for. There's the green light, and if I press the power button again, the gimbal should be calibrated. If you're holding the gimbal horizontally like this, such that the phone is in front of the handle, and not like this where the phone would be above the handle, you can enter vertical shooting. All you need to do is tap the function button, and then tap the trigger. Now I'm in vertical shooting. I don't like vertical shooting since it really doesn't have a large range of motion before the motors start locking out. Like, if I just rotate this, I've already lost horizontal. To switch back to horizontal shooting, you would tap the function button again and double tap the trigger. So at any point in recording, if you hold the trigger, you enter a temporary lock mode. If you release the trigger, you will go back to whatever mode you were shooting in. So here's the slider. If I push in, it starts zooming in. If I pull it back, it starts zooming out. This only works with the app again. Same thing for the shutter, it only works with the app. If you tap once, it should take a photo. I don't know why it's recording video. Hopefully this works this time. If I press it, it's taking video. What about if I hold it? It's still taking video. If you tap it, it's supposed to take a photo. And if you hold it, it's supposed to record video. I don't like using the app. Most of it is in pretty poorly translated Chinglish. I don't know what any of these modes do, and they don't bother explaining it. So here in the settings, you can switch how fast the camera pans around. So motion would be the fastest, and smooth would be the slowest. So on top of that, there are other reasons why I don't like the app. First off, you need to create a Feiyu account. I don't understand why everything needs an account these days. I guess it is what it is. Second, it arbitrarily limits your recording frame rates. The max I can get is 4K 30, but my phone is capable of 4K 60 video. So here I am in my phone's default camera app, and you can see that the resolution maxes out at 4K 60 FPS. In addition, it also needs your location. I don't know why the gimbal needs my location in order for it to work. I think that's enough talking. Let's see this thing in action. So first up, I'm in pan mode, and it's doing a decent enough job at stabilizing the video, but it kinda seems like the horizon is a little bit off, maybe 1 or 2 degrees. So next up is lock, and as I round this bend here, you can notice that it does lose track of where the horizon is, again by around 1 degree or so. It's stabilizing the video pretty decently, but if you pay attention to the edges, with each footstep there is a little bit of distortion. Next up is pan and tilt. Again, other than the horizon being a little iffy here, it's doing a good job. Here is some vertical video. So all previous clips had electronic image stabilization enabled on my phone. So this is without EIS, and you definitely notice a lot more vibration with each footstep. This is a running test with basic stabilization on. And here is a running test with maximum stabilization on. As I exit the part here, it loses the horizon more noticeably. All previous clips were recorded with the default camera app on my phone. So I recorded some with the app, and I only found another reason to not use the app. The inbuilt stabilization in your camera app is catered towards your phone. Using the app only has a very generic stabilization, which looks absolutely terrible. I mean, look at all that warping, it's the HTC Re all over again. I even recorded twice to make sure this wasn't a fluke. A major issue that I've run into is that the motors seem to be a little too weak for their job. Occasionally, I'll get this vibration that occurs, and when this happens, your video is completely screwed. There's no saving this. I did a very basic battery test where I just left it on and saw how long it could last. I got around 2.5 hours. Pretty decent. I mean, I don't think my phone can even record for 2.5 hours straight. So overall, it's got a decent amount of issues, but for the price I paid, I did expect to see some problems with the device. When it works, it's pretty good, but when you start pushing it too far, the motors start failing, and it loses calibration. While I do like it, I don't find myself really using it that much. It's a major opportunity cost. I love using action cams. They boot really fast, and they're instantly ready to record. However, with this thing, if you want to protect it properly, you'll leave it in the carrying case. Then you need to set up your phone, power on. That's a huge hassle, compared to just having an action camera in your pocket that's ready to record at any time. Not to mention, it's very awkward to bring this whole thing around. You would need a bag at least. These action cameras fit in your pocket, and I think I can fit maybe 15 of these in the size of one case.